Have you ever wondered about Judgment Day? It's a concept that shows up in many religions and cultures, often depicted with fire, chaos, and a whole lot of drama. But what if we could break it down into simple, easy-to-understand ideas? That's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to explore what Judgment Day is all about, without the scary movie effects, and look at the core message behind it. So, grab a comfy seat, and let's dive into one of humanity's biggest questions. First off, let's get the basics straight. At its heart, Judgment Day is the idea that at some point in the future, all of humanity will face a final review of their lives. Think of it like the ultimate performance review, but for your entire existence. The central theme is accountability. It's the belief that our actions, thoughts, and intentions matter, and one day, we will have to account for them. This isn't just about punishment, it's also about reward, justice, and setting things right. Different traditions have their own unique details, but this core idea of accountability is something they often share. Let's start with the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, since their concepts of Judgment Day are quite well known. In Christianity, the event is often tied to the second coming of Jesus Christ. The New Testament, particularly the book of Revelation, describes a time when the dead will be resurrected to be judged alongside the living. People's deeds are metaphorically recorded in books, which are opened on Judgment Day. Those who have lived a life of faith and good works are welcomed into heaven, a state of eternal union with God. The imagery can be intense, with talk of a lake of fire for the unrighteous, but many theologians emphasize that the core message is one of hope, redemption, and God's ultimate justice. It's the final chapter where good triumphs over evil once and for all. In Islam, Judgment Day, known as Yawm al-Qiyamah or the Day of Resurrection, is a fundamental pillar of faith. The Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad describe it in vivid detail. On this day, the entire universe will be destroyed and then recreated. Every person who has ever lived will be brought back to life to stand before Allah for judgment. Similar to the Christian tradition, a book records every person's deeds, both good and bad. The judgment is said to be perfectly just, with deeds weighed on a cosmic scale. Those whose good deeds outweigh the bad will be granted entry into Jannah, or paradise, while those whose evil deeds prevail will face punishment in Jahannam, or hell. The emphasis is on divine mercy and justice, reminding believers to live a conscious and righteous life. Judaism also has concepts of a final judgment, although it's often less centralized than in Christianity and Islam. The idea of an afterlife and a day of reckoning evolved over time. In rabbinic literature, there's a belief in a future world, Olam Haba, and a day when God will judge all people. This judgment is tied to the Messianic era, a time of universal peace and justice. Some traditions speak of the resurrection of the dead and a process where souls are purified before entering the world to come. The focus is less on a single cataclysmic day and more on a process of divine justice unfolding throughout history, culminating in a final, perfected world. The key takeaway is still the same: our actions on earth have eternal significance. But what about beyond the Abrahamic faiths? Eastern religions like Hinduism and Buddhism have very different, yet equally fascinating, perspectives. They don't typically have a single, final judgment day for all of humanity at the end of time. Instead, their concept of accountability is built into the very fabric of existence through karma and reincarnation. Karma is the universal law of cause and effect. Every action, thought, and word you put out into the universe creates an effect that will eventually come back to you. It's not a divine judge handing out rewards or punishments, but rather a natural consequence of your own choices. In Hinduism, when a person dies, their soul, or Atman, is reborn into a new life. This is the cycle of samsara. The conditions of your next life, whether you're born into wealth or poverty, health or sickness, are determined by the karma you've accumulated in your past lives. The ultimate goal is not to get a good rebirth, but to break free from the cycle of rebirth altogether and achieve moksha, which is liberation and union with the ultimate reality, Brahman. So, in a way, judgment isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous process that happens with every choice we make, life after life. Your actions are their own judge. Buddhism, which emerged from the same cultural soil as Hinduism, shares the concepts of karma and rebirth. However, Buddhism places a strong emphasis on intention. The moral quality of an action is determined not just by the act itself, but by the intention behind it. An accidental harm is viewed differently from a malicious one. Like in Hinduism, the goal is to escape the cycle of suffering and rebirth, samsara, and achieve nirvana's state of complete peace, enlightenment, and the end of all suffering. Judgment isn't carried out by a divine being, but by the impersonal, natural law of karma. Your own mind and your own actions create your heaven or your hell, both in this life and the next. So, we have these two major models, the one-time final judgment in Abrahamic faiths and the continuous cycle of karma and rebirth in Eastern traditions. But what do they all have in common? At their core, all these beliefs are trying to answer some of life's deepest questions. Does my life have meaning? Do my choices matter? Is there justice in the universe? The concept of a final judgment or karmic consequence provides a framework for morality. It tells us that our actions have ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate sight, and that ultimately, justice will prevail. It's a powerful motivator to be a better person. Now, let us step outside of religious texts for a moment and think about this from a secular or philosophical perspective. Even without a belief in God or an afterlife, the idea of a judgment day can be a useful metaphor. Imagine that at the end of your life, you have to sit down and watch a movie of your entire existence. Would you be proud of the person you see on the screen? Did you act with kindness, integrity, and compassion? This personal judgment day isn't about getting into heaven, but about living a life that you can look back on with a sense of peace and fulfillment. It's about accountability to yourself and to the community you're a part of. Our legacy, the impact we have on others and the world, is a form of judgment that plays out long after we're gone. Many people find the idea of Judgment Day to be scary, and that's understandable. The imagery can be terrifying. But if we look past the fire and brimstone, we can find a message of hope. It's the idea that the universe is not random or chaotic, but that there is an underlying moral order. It's the promise that suffering and injustice are not the final words. Whether it's through divine intervention or the natural law of karma, the belief is that things will eventually be made right. This can be an incredible source of comfort, especially when we see so much that seems unfair in the world. It encourages us to hold on, to keep striving for good, because our efforts are not in vain. So, to wrap it all up, Judgment Day is a powerful and universal concept about accountability. Whether it's a single, final event presided over by God, or the ongoing, impersonal law of karma, the message is clear: your life matters. Your choices create your reality. It's a call to live consciously, with kindness, compassion, and integrity. It's not just about avoiding punishment, but about striving for the best version of ourselves and contributing to a better world. And that's a message that resonates across all cultures and beliefs, reminding us that we are all connected in this grand, cosmic story. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. I hope this breakdown helps you see the idea of Judgment Day in a new light. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into big ideas. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.